Good morning, and welcome to the Financial Optimist. And today I'm asking the question, are your tattoos keeping you poor? Let's find out. So here we're looking at images of various tattoo shapes, sizes, and colors. And you look at this and some people go, yeah, I want that. And other people go, that seems kind of weird. Why would you do that? But, in today's economy with the whole cost of living crisis, we have to ask ourselves what is truly important in life, what is not important. Even if you're someone that wants to have tattoos like this, you have to ask yourself, can you truly afford it, and what is it costing you? So here, the search assistant is showing us that over the course of a lifetime, people spend anywhere from $1,000 to $20,000 on tattoos. And so, you think that's an awful lot of money, because even if it's only a few $100s for individual tattoos, over the course of a lifetime, some people spend tens of thousands of dollars on tattoos. And you have to think to yourself, okay, you may have spent $20,000 on tattoos, but what if you had invested the money? And how much would it have grown if you had done that? So I plugged the numbers into an investment calculator. If you spent $1,000 per year on tattoos over 20 years, you spent $20,000. But if you had invested the money at 8%, it would instead be $50,000. So even if you tell people I've only spent $20,000 on tattoos, technically yes, but you've really spent more like $50,000 because the money could have been invested. It could have grown. Now let's change the numbers a bit here. Alright, what if instead you only spend $500 per year on tattoos, but you do it over 50 years? So, go ahead and drop a comment down below in the comment section and take your guess. $500 per year over 50 years at 8% rate of return, what would that be? Let me know what your guess is. Because the answer is $310,000. So, people who get tattoos at $500 per year over 50 years, they've only directly spent $25,000 on tattoos. But because the money could have been invested over 50 years, it could have grown to more than $300,000. That's the price of a house, but it was spent on tattoos. So the next time someone tells you they can't afford a house, ask them, okay, how much money have you spent on tattoos? The next time someone asks you, I can't afford to retire, ask them, how much do you plan to spend on tattoos in the future? Because this is one of those things where it does add up a lot, and the wasted investment potential is even more than the cost of the act itself. So you look at the numbers, you realize, if you're an ordinary middle-class American, or even if you're watching from other countries as well, it's very, very expensive to get tattoos because the money could have been better spent elsewhere. If you're living paycheck to paycheck and you have tattoos, well, that explains why you're living paycheck to paycheck. You're buying things you just don't need. And on top of that, it gets even worse. Let's say you regret the tattoo and you want to have it removed. Well, the cost of tattoo removal is even higher than getting the tattoo itself. For example, an extra large tattoo can take between $3,600 to $10,000 to get removed, but the cost of getting that tattoo is $1,000 to $3,000, meaning the cost of removing a tattoo could be approximately triple what it was to get the tattoo in the first place. So if you regret your tattoos, you could be spending even more money. And think of it this way. Just a few years ago, it was taboo to have tattoos that were visible on the back of the hand, on the side of the neck, on the face. And, people who had visible tattoos had a hard time finding employment, finding jobs. Well, what if that becomes tattoo again in a few years? And what if people who got those visible tattoos are having a hard time finding work, having a hard time finding employment, having a hard time finding a date? What if the culture changes and tattoos are no longer cool in a few years, but you already got them? They're permanent, and even though they do have tattoo removal procedures, they're never quite perfect. They tend to leave some marks behind. So with that said, you have to wonder, okay, with this type of an investment difference here, how does that affect what income range you're in? Well, here from the Pew Research Center, it shows that 43% of lower income adults have a tattoo, compared to just 31% of middle income households, and only 21% of upper income households have tattoos. So what this shows is that if you're spending money on tattoos, you're likely to be poor. If you spend less money on tattoos or get none at all, you're likely to be wealthier. Because people who have lots of money and like to invest it realize it's a waste of money, it's permanent, something you can't really change, and it's something you should just avoid if you want to actually be successful in life. Whereas people who get lots of tattoos tend to not have as much money because, they're wasting all their money in tattoos instead of investing it. Wealthy people here, they're investing their money. That's what they're spending. Very few wealthy people actually have tattoos. And one last consideration to think about is peer pressure. So some people say things like, oh, I was peer pressured into it. I mean, you could always say no. Like, I know when I was in the military, most of the people I worked with had tattoos, very similar to many of these. And many of them were asking me, hey, why don't you get a tattoo? And I said, well, I just don't see the point in it. Like, why? It's making a permanent change to my body, and if I regret having it later, it's hard to get it removed. It's expensive, it costs money, and personally, I don't think it even looks good. Like, none of these pictures are good looking. Like, if you were ugly before getting tattoos, the tattoo isn't going to make you look any better. Like, I just never understood the purpose of these things. So if you're someone that does want to let me know why you got tattoos, go ahead and drop a comment down below in the comment section. Let me know. Otherwise, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.